Welcome to the Secret Keepers Podcast with your host, Kareen Zutleger. Join us as we uncover the hidden thoughts, stories, and moments that help bring light to the healing power of truth and examine how silence can affect us mentally, physically, and spiritually. We'll also share profound stories, interviews, and transformative narratives to help release ourselves from the hidden and step into healing towards inner peace, joy, and fulfillment. Now, here's your healing strategist and host, Kareen.
Welcome to the Secret Keepers Podcast. And today I have Ramona Brendalen as my guest, and she's going to tell you a little bit about herself.
Hi. So, yes, my name is Ramona, and I am currently living my dream as a massage therapist and Reiki practitioner, energy worker, I would say light worker also. Um, I was always in the helping field, but not in this capacity. I used to do a lot of customer service work. But then I really found my true calling and pretty much started my life over at the age of 43, 44, and I feel like I'm now living my absolute best life, helping others.
Oh, I love that so much. So tell me, Ramona, what prompted you at that age to make kind of like a 180? You went from, retail customer service type jobs to
Yeah.
hands-on energy work. What prompted that?
Yeah. So I'm a single mom of twin sons, and I've been a single mom almost their entire life. They are now 22. And um, I always knew that once they were older and more situated in their life, then I would do something for myself because my entire life with them was spent for them.
Oh, that's it.
Lots of sacrifices because when I said I was a single mom, I was truly a single mom. There was no weekend at dad's or child support or any of that kind of thing. So I did what we needed to do to survive. And so then when I had that opportunity to really switch my life and help others in more of a positive way, I went to school, started within the next month, and went full force. School was about a year, and then I quit my corporate job, opened my own practice, and never turned back.
Yay!
Yeah,
I'm so
it's
grateful for
exciting.
that.
Yes.
It was so interesting how I met you, because
Yeah.
I had been thinking, I had the thoughts, I needed to find a new massage therapist because the gal I had been using for many years, she pivoted to go back to school. And so I was like, what am I gonna do now? And then some friends posted on the Facebook that
Yeah.
you were opening.
Yes.
And so since they recommended you, and I really trust those friends, I was
Yes.
like, I am going to give this a go. And
Hmm.
immediately felt a connection with you, just that
Yeah.
soul level connection with you. And I thought, yep, this is it. This is the right massage therapist for me.
Hmm.
And one of the things that I really enjoy about you is that you are very loving and very open. And I would enjoy you telling the audience, like, what was it that kept you um kind of in a space of maybe unresourcefulness or um, maybe a secret that you kept that kept you from living your best life that you have overcome.
Yeah. So and I love that you said that about me. I really love hearing that because that is truly what I try to not portray, but give out into this life is my love and my light to everyone. And I always create a very welcoming, open, safe space for everyone that walks through my door, no matter what it's for, if it's for a massage or just to drop off my mail. I just want to create that space for everyone. And I feel like I've always been that kind of person. However, um, very early on in my life, I think even when I first started dating, which was after I went to college, I fell down a very bad path of dating narcissists and abusive men. Um, and that I didn't let anyone know about that because I'm the type of person that I'm smiling, I'm happy. I want to make sure you're happy and smiling. So you don't actually ask me what's really going on. And so for a very long time, actually up until my boys were 2, I hid the abuse pretty much from everyone. And it was physical, emotional, sexual, any type of abuse, it happened. And I hid it because I didn't want people to worry about me, you know. Um, and so I'd go through all those years smiling and laughing and just checking on everyone else and making sure that I would change the subject if they ever asked, well, how are you doing? You know, just kind of laugh and blow it off and let me change the subject quick. How are you doing?
Isn't
And
it,
so that, what's that?
isn't it interesting, right? That you would
Yeah,
go to such great lengths to
yeah,
keep other people happy. I just want to take a second and back up just a little
yeah.
bit in your explanation because many of the audience people might not know what narcissistic behavior looks like, right? I think there's kind of
Yeah,
this, I think the term is thrown around
it is.
so much that there isn't a really good deep understanding of what it is. But for someone who has lived through it, you have probably a better depth of knowledge base. So could you just
Mhm.
share with the audience really what does that behavior, what does that look like?
Yeah, and so I felt like I was a narcissist magnet, actually. It seemed like I kept carrying on through my life, but they're wonderful. They're charming when you first meet them, and they say all the right things and make you feel so special and so loved. And wow, he picked me. That's what they make you feel like. And then once they have you hooked, then they start changing and gaslighting and creating situations where you start thinking, am I crazy? Am I getting why am I getting upset for the wrong reason? Am I just overthinking when you're not? They're
So
they're really
gaslighting,
good. Yeah,
like,
they're really good at manipulating and changing the story to make it seem like I'm the problem, like the person is the problem and they're not doing anything wrong. And a lot of times you get sucked into it, and you don't realize what's going on until much later.
would you say that gaslighting then that's what it is where they make
Yeah.
you believe that you're the one that's crazy, that
Yes.
everything you say is not true, even though it is true?
Yes, absolutely. I mean,
Actually,
you could provide actual evidence of a problem and they would make you think that you did something wrong or you were crazy for even bringing that up.
okay.
And it does make you feel like you're crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see that. And so what I'm hearing is you were just stuffing down all of this being like, well, I just need to be happy.
Mhm.
I need to be happy. I can't let anybody know this is happening because
Yeah.
um and isn't that an interesting behavior that you would feel
Yeah.
deep needed what I'm hearing is, I mean, just as a societal thing, right? Girls are supposed to be nice and we're
Mhm.
supposed to be, so just people pleasing and doting and taking care of everybody. And so if you, heaven forbid, would say this is what's really happening and people would see that, then maybe you weren't living up to the expectation of
Yeah.
what it meant to be a good girl or
Yep.
woman or that kind of thing. So,
Yeah. Absolutely.
whoosh. Okay. So you got all
Yeah.
of this stuff inside of you, and one day you were like, what
Yeah.
happened?
The turning point was, an incident occurred, and I thought, if I don't get out of this situation, I might not get another opportunity, to the fact that I was scared for my life. And it scared me so much to think, who would raise my boys if I wasn't here?
Mm.
How are they going to live without their mom if I'm not here? And that was my slap in the face to, hey, get your stuff together, get out of this situation, protect those boys no matter who it's from, and get out. And I did. I literally I called my dad and said, "Dad, I need to move." I think my parents kind of knew what was going on, but not to that extent, because of course I didn't want to disappoint them, you know.
Mm.
Um, I said, "I need to move." He said, "Okay, what do we need to do? How much do you need to get a down payment? What do we need to do?" And we packed up my house with another friend and moved us to a safe location within a couple days. Um, and that was a scary situation too, because then it's, well, what happens when he comes back? All these situations. But what actually got me to that point was talking to the staff at Christine Ann Center in Oshkosh. I never had to stay there, but they gave me some great resources and helped me be strong and helped me build an exit strategy, and also some safety tools as well, how to stay safe, how to get out. I mean, I would run through my mind, okay, if he comes home and he's in a bad state, how do I get my babies safely out of the house? I would run through the scenarios all the time. I mean, I would hide my car keys next to the door where he wouldn't see them. I would hide my wallet in the diaper bag underneath some in the diaper, because I didn't want him to come home and take my money and or stop us from leaving. So and then obviously it was harder too with having two little babies. How do I have to get these guys together and out of the house, in a pretty swift movement.
Sure.
So I was really on survival mode for a very, very long time. But those skills that they taught me saved our lives. And I
So,
still think about it today.
um, okay. So what's really important is you learned also, so you left and you took charge of your life.
Yes.
So something
Yes.
deep inside of you gave you the courage to take that step forward and say, no more. Like
Yes.
what I'm
Yep.
hearing is that the center in Oshkosh was very
Hmm.
helpful as far as resources, which is phenomenal.
Yes.
I love to hear that places like that do make impact, right?
Hmm.
And and then you somewhere inside of you mustered up that courage to say, I'm doing this thing and I'm getting
Yeah.
out. Um, and I also hear you telling the audience and telling me that your body was you were living in a perpetual state of fight or flight because
Hmm.
of the situation you were in.
Yep.
And knowing all the neuroscience behind that and understanding what that level of trauma does to the body, I imagine that it left some repercussions behind, if you will.
Hmm.
You may
Yeah.
have physically left the situation, um, but then there is the work that has to happen emotionally from the
Hmm.
situation. So can
Yeah.
you tell me, what did that look like for you?
It was a roller coaster. I mean, and that didn't, even just leaving the situation, it didn't end there. I had years of um trying to stay safe in situations, and then even when I would date or meet somebody, I was still going in these bad cycles. Um, but it was always a constant learning process for me, and I really made it a point to, every time something, let's say negative, would happen again, I would stop and reflect on it and say, okay, this is happening again. I'm not learning my lesson yet from the universe. Okay, let's take a look here. But it was a constant struggle, and it was constant years and years of trying to heal emotionally and physically. Um, I think that work never really stops. You always have to keep healing.
You could be looking, and then you set your eyes on something completely different, right? You were
Yeah.
like trying to make a new life. And
Mm-hmm.
so we hold that vision of the new life in our mind and we see it. And then that's what you begin to take the steps towards is
Yeah.
beginning, is building this new life. And you spent years, being that single mom and loving and taking care of your boys and putting them as your priority, and,
Mm-hmm.
making sure that everything was taken care of for them. And then when they got to be that age where they were starting to maybe leave or look is when you
Mm-hmm.
decided to um shift and do something for you.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
And then what did
Yeah.
that so what did your transformation of Ramona look
Yes.
like?
So yeah, and like I said, I mean, it wasn't like one thing. I almost wish they had like a rehab center that you could check into after a situation like that to get yourself together, because there isn't one resource. There's not one magic button that makes all the things go away and now you're this wonderful person. It's just all these, I mean, books I read, classes I took, talking to mental health professionals, um, talking to other women. I mean, I'm constantly trying to heal and learn and grow. Um, and then and even having very honest conversations with my kids too, I think helped all that situation. And I honestly couldn't have been a massage therapist or energy worker then. I couldn't have helped other people because I needed to help myself first. And I think,
Yes.
yes, and I couldn't have, I could have went through the motions, and sure, I probably would have been a fine massage therapist, but I wouldn't be able to help people with the open heart and hold space for people like I do now if I hadn't gone through all that work. And it's not nice. It's really awful work. It's hard. It's emotional. And the deeper you dive, the harder it is to pull out sometimes. And it's
Okay.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would concur, right? It's not for the faint of heart, right? The
Yeah.
personal growth journey and the healing from trauma is um it is difficult, deep work.
Yeah.
And what's on the other side of it is so rewarding, right?
Oh,
So I
yes.
wouldn't want to scare anybody and say,
No, no, no.
like, don't do it because it's too hard, but it's grueling.
Right.
You have to stick with it.
You
And it's
do.
not a snap of the fingers like you had alluded to.
Right.
Like we don't just wave our magic wand and
Right.
we're woo, we're healed.
Great now.
All
Yeah.
all I have to do is have positive affirmations and I'm healed.
Right.
You
Right. But
know?
all of the hard work that I went through, I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't even change the situations that I went through, because now I'm living such an amazing, loving life. I almost feel guilty. I don't, but I almost feel guilty because I'm so happy. I'm so filled with peace and love. I feel like I'm on vacation every day. I I love going to work and helping everyone else. I absolutely love it. And I'm helping people in a positive way.
And you do a great job, a phenomenal
Thank
job.
you.
And right, that was the gift, right? When we can look
Yeah.
at, the situations in our life and we can glean the gift out of it, versus staying stuck in the mess of
Yes.
it, right? So
Hmm.
often we see, that people are still stuck in the mess of it,
Hmm.
and it happened 20 years ago. Uh,
Yeah.
and not taking those steps forward to help themselves, right? Not
Hmm.
living in the present moment. All their time is spent living in the past, and you've done such a great job, transforming your life, and then every day you're of service to other
Hmm.
people. And I do know that you make yourself a priority now.
I do. Self-care is so important to me. And, self-care isn't just facials and massage. It's part of that. But to me, because someone asked me once, what's my favorite self-care? And I said, it's doing whatever I want to do. I say no all the time to things I don't want to do. And it's no, period. It's not no in this great long explanation. Um, if I'm tired and I have time, I rest. If I take care of myself. I love myself like I love everyone else. And I think if we could all get there, that would be such an amazing place.
And often the most loving thing you can do for both sides of the fence is say no
Yes.
something that you really your heart isn't in, right? Because that's
Yes.
such a when I say yes to things and my body says no,
Hmm.
the body remembers that, and that's
Yes.
a betrayal to the body and to the self. And you're like,
Yeah.
and then it's like, no, you really didn't want to do that. And then your heart
Hmm.
remembers that. And
Hmm.
there are repercussions for that too, down
Yeah.
the line. But I know that um, I love that, first of all, that you say no to things that are just a no for you, no, period.
Yes. Yes.
And listening to that gut, to that intuition of what that no really looks like for you.
Hmm.
Um, and not giving in to the societal pressures of,
Right.
right, to please other people, to be nice,
Yes.
to just,
Yes.
yeah, because it's like, well, but the family wants me to XYZ.
Yes.
Everything inside of you is like, no.
Right, right. And then you have to lie and you have to
Yeah,
come up with an excuse of why you can't do the things. And then you feel crummy afterwards. So just saying no, but thank you for thinking of me,
yeah.
period. End the conversation. And that was a huge pivotal moment for me when I started practicing no. Um, it was kind of funny because, well, I'm a people pleaser. I was a people pleaser and an overthinker, so that's double whammy. When I started saying no, people started stopping and thinking, "Oh, wait, she just said no?" Like, yeah, with no explanation. But you have to set your boundaries, and it's
Mhm.
okay to say no whenever you want.
That's so beautiful. I love that. That simple word of no, and no.
Yeah,
No, I don't have
no,
to tell you all of the reasons why. It's just a
no,
no for me, and that's
absolutely.
beautiful. I did learn that from a former pastor. She told me, she said, if it was truly aligned, if it was coming from our Creator, if it was coming from God, it wouldn't feel icky.
Right.
Was a yes, right? I mean, if it was really something that you were supposed to be doing, you'd get a hell yes in your body instead of
Yes.
with the crunchy feelings that went along with
Mhm.
it. So, honoring that. I love the fact that the journey that you have taken for yourself, you're able to also, you know, look at that and think, how can I apply this into my Reiki and my massage?
Yeah.
And it does give you a better understanding of other human beings because you are allowed, these other lenses to put on. You're like, oh, well, here I am, and I'm here to be
Mhm.
of service.
Mhm.
I think often what we forget is that it's difficult to be of service when we aren't servicing ourselves.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be, like you said, self-care it's not about being selfish.
No.
And sometimes, it's great, like, at this stage of the game where your boys are older and you're able to probably put your self-care right away in the morning.
Mhm.
Um, but that's not always the case, right? If we have young moms,
Right.
sometimes that self-care might look like it might be after all the kids have gone to bed,
Yeah.
taking
Yep.
time, but still taking the time.
Take the time, even if everyone's busy, and even if you have little kids, take that 5 or minutes that you have in your car before you have to go pick them up out of daycare. Collect your thoughts, take some deep breaths, close your eyes, put that favorite song on, whatever you need to do to reset your button. And even if it's only for a few minutes, I mean, just simple breathing for a few minutes will completely reset your mind frame and just get you through for the rest of the day. So it's not all these elaborate things. It's just
Yeah.
taking a few minutes for your, if that's all you have, then take that.
Yeah. Those deep breaths and to remind
Yeah.
yourself, I am worthy. I am
Yes.
worthy. I matter, that this existence that I am having right now. Um, right. And our thoughts are a big part of that. If I'm in a perpetual state of, I can't do this, I can't do this, this is too much, and I'm in this overwhelm, and these are the words I'm feeding myself,
Hmm.
well, then that is going to be the effect that you see.
Yep,
I
absolutely.
sit in my car and I just take 5 minutes and take 5 deep breaths or whatever it is
Hmm.
and remind myself of who I am and, why I'm here and, coming from a space of love and peace and joy and fulfillment and remember the
Yeah.
blessings, right? And having that,
Yes.
being thankful for the fact that, I have this life and there is always some good to be gleaned. Um, if you were to kind of take a look at the whole picture now, standing back from it
Hmm.
as the observer,
Hmm.
and pick out one piece, one golden nugget of wisdom that you would
Mm.
like to share with the audience, what would that be?
Gosh, that's so hard just to pick one. um
I hear that from many people. Oh, just
It
pick.
is because I mean, honestly, like we talked about saying no,
Mhm.
start saying no. If I would have said no to anything in those previous years of my life, if I would have just started saying no then, my whole life would have changed. Say no if you're not being treated fairly, or if someone is even making you question yourself, just stop and say no to that. You don't have to accept anything that you don't like.
Yeah, if it feels icky in your body,
Yeah.
your body's way of telling you it's a no.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Listen to those red flags popping up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And also recognize that there are lots of resources out there available.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's a lot of free resources. There are a lot of very low cost resources. So you're
Yes.
never alone in this journey. Uh,
Never.
and you are the living proof. There is
Hmm.
peace and love and joy on the other side of, that sort of, having been treated that way by a narcissist who was gaslighting you, uh,
Hmm.
living that journey. And I'm so grateful that our paths have crossed and that I get to
Yes.
if somebody wanted to connect with you and
Oh,
receive an amazing a massage or Reiki or have a coffee chat or whatever,
even, yeah.
how would they
I
find you?
always I always offer that to everyone. If just people I meet too. If you ever want to talk, I have a ton of resources. If I can't help you, I'm sure I know someone who can. So
Yeah,
I'd honestly, if I can ever be of service to anyone, please reach out, even if you need just somebody to listen to, hold space. I have a lot of people asking me about business planning, which I just jumped into that myself and just took off. But I mean, anything. I'm always here to help people. That's why I'm here.
and that would be the easiest way would be how to find you.
I am on Facebook as Blue Lotus Massage and also Instagram. And you can always reach out through Messenger there and then we can connect, if you want to chat over the
Beautiful.
phone or text. Yeah.
Well, I love that so much, and I just
Yes.
love you, Ramona. I am so grateful that our paths crossed,
Yes. I
and
feel the same.
thank you. Thank you for sharing with us your journey and what it's like to be on the other side of it. I celebrate you. I celebrate all
Thank
that you've
you.
accomplished. And I just really look forward to cheering you on as you continue to step into all of your fullness because I know there's more to come.
Yes. Thank you so much for offering this opportunity for me too. It was really special. And again, part of my healing journey.
Absolutely. I get
Yes.
goosebumps. Yes, it
Yes,
is.
same here.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for being on the Secret Keepers podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining the Secret Keepers Podcast. If you found this episode helpful, please give us a like and follow so we can invite you back. And if you just want more, visit CorrineZuleger.com. Remember, you're not alone.